How's it going, everyone? This is Mitchell Mander, and well, as you can see here, we got another article to cover. And surprisingly, this one's actually not from Screen Rant or CBR.com, but from TheGamer.com. I'm not really too familiar with this website, but judging by what I'm seeing here, yeah, it's pretty much like Screen Rant and CBR.com, these websites that put these clickbaity articles out that are it's just full of all kinds of misinformation, and they kind of don't know what they're talking about, or they'll just talk about some basic stuff and then come to conclusions based off of that. So yeah, it's very much like Screen Rant. So as you can tell by here, the reason why I'm making this video is, the title of the article really caught my attention because it says, "I ruined my own childhood by realizing that Ash Ketchum is the real villain of Pokemon. I grew up loving Ash Ketchum, but looking back now, he's kind of a dick." So, wow, what a wonderful start to this article. So I'm not going to read the first couple paragraphs because he's mainly summarizing how he got into the series. So I'm going to start right here. This is where it gets kind of juicy. "The memories I have of watching Pokemon as a kid are unanimously fond. I don't watch it anymore, but I still play to this day. I even took on the self-induced challenge of trying out Ash's Pokemon League winning team in competitive battles a couple weeks ago. The result? Something we already knew, that Ash is a piss-poor trainer." Well, that's a bit of a spicy take there. So Ash is apparently a piss-poor trainer, everyone. Apparently he sucks. Apparently, he totally just didn't earn his Alola League championship. He totally didn't win that league. He totally didn't make it to the finals in the Kalos League. I mean, he's doing pretty well for himself in Journey so far. So, yeah, apparently he's a piss-poor trainer. So, this guy, it looks like he linked another article here. So, give me like 5 minutes. I'm going to read through this article and see just what he's talking about here. So, give me just a second. Alright, so I've read this article, and I'm not even going to bother covering this one, because, whoa. So, just to summarize what I read here, this guy basically took Ash's Alola team, put it into like some Pokemon battle simulator thingy, and tested it out. And it basically it came out that Ash's team, he says here at the end of the article I'll post here, that with the experiment over, Ash's Pokemon League team is pretty good, but it's not great. And he calls it middle of the road. So, you say it's pretty good, and then when you make this article, you call Ash a piss-poor trainer. Okay. Moving on. "It was a fun experiment, but I can't say I expected what came next. After realizing that Ash, even after 22 long, arduous years, is still a million miles away from being being good at Pokemon." Oh, okay. How'd you come to this conclusion? I mean, Ash won the Alola League. He was a very competent trainer in Kalos. He's very competent in Journeys. So, apparently, Ash is still a terrible Pokemon trainer, despite the fact that he's qualified for multiple leagues, and plays pretty high in some of them. So yeah, go on, tell me why Ash is a terrible trainer. So, according to this guy, he watched some episodes of the original anime, which I'm guessing he means the original series. You know, the series where Ash is at his, worst, or at his least experience as a Pokemon trainer. "And I dove into a deluge of clips on YouTube," could have specified which ones you're looking at, by the way, "and I read more Bulbapedia articles than I thought existed. And honestly, the Pokemon-specific wiki is a remarkable resource." So this guy apparently did all his research, and he says here, ultimately, "The end of all my research came to the irrefutable and deeply terrible conclusion that Ash Ketchum is just awful." So yeah, apparently after doing all this research, Ash is a terrible trainer despite all that. Despite him winning the Alola League, despite him placing second in the Kalos League, despite him going up against a couple of champions, and specifically Diantha. He did pretty well against Diantha in their second battle. So yeah, Ash is a terrible trainer. Alright, moving on from that relatively hot take. So he basically in this paragraph is talking about the first episode of Pokemon. He says here, "We all need a Lyon sometimes, and who hasn't shown up late to work or missed an important bus or completely forgotten that they were supposed to get their first ever Pokemon this morning, and will likely never have an opportunity this fortunate ever again. It happens. I mean, well, I think this was for the best because Pikachu is pretty powerful. He's definitely a very powerful Pokemon that Ash was very fortunate to get, and his partner Pokemon since the very beginning. So I'd say this was for the best. Not to mention Ash actually got Bulbasaur, Charmander, and Squirtle not too long later. So yeah, Ash was very fortunate in this situation. So okay, this is kind of funny. So Ash meets Pikachu, and Pikachu is a little shit. So okay, yeah, I mean, that is true. That is kind of funny. He's a spoiled brat, refuses to play nice, blah, 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 blah. Anyways, do you remember the next part? Reader? I hope you don't. Ash puts on some rubber gloves, like what you'd wear when you're cleaning the dishes, ties an industrial rope around Pikachu's waist, and proceeds to literally pull his bound Pikachu up a hill, while repeatedly scolding it for not being nice. Eventually, he unties Pikachu because he thinks he sees a Pidgey off the distance. Pikachu obviously upset, blah, 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 blah. And so Ash throws a rock, and as you do, says he doesn't need any help and launches at the bird's head, blah, blah, blah. So, as it so happens, Pidgey is not Pidgey, it's a Spearow, and it immediately summons all the furious Spearow mates. Ash and Pikachu do a runner. Okay, that's weird. And Pikachu lets out an almighty thunderbolt, but he hasn't had much training yet and ends up injuring both of himself and Ash. Okay, so why is Ash a villain in Pokemon? Please tell me. Ash feeling something that is almost sympathy. What do you mean? What do you mean sympathy? He was, after Pikachu got injured in this episode, he was trying his best to get away from the Spearow and get Pikachu to the Pokemon Center. You're acting like Ash doesn't care about Pikachu. He goes to Viridian Forest and steals a... Okay, so, like, this guy said he did his research, and he says that Ash stole the bike, or Misty's bike, in Viridian Forest. Buddy, we don't go to Viridian Forest until episode 3. We're not in Viridian Forest, we're still on Route 1. Turns out it's Misty's, and she's not having it. Of course she's not. Alright, moving on from all that. It turns out the bike's Misty's, and she's not having it, of course. We know that. After explaining the severity of his situation, Misty decides to help Pikachu, not Ash. He's a kid. Somewhere along the way, Ash tries to show off and... Okay, we're like jumping all over the place. Because we're going from like the first episode to the third episode. We keep going back and forth between that. Somewhere along the way, Ash tries to show off and forces his newly caught Caterpie to fight a Pidgeotto. Okay, yes, stupid move. But again, this is Noob Ash we're talking about. We're talking about Noob Ash in 2020. I'd like to mention that this article came out today, as of the recording of October 15th. And this guy is talking about the original series, and not talking about current Ash. So, anyways, yes, a very stupid move, but Ash is a lot smarter nowadays. On one hand, pitting a weak Pokemon against a far stronger one is not ideal. On the other hand, he puts a literal caterpillar in the ring against an eagle. So apparently Pidgeotto is an eagle. Okay, whatever. I mean, sure. I'll give you that. Pokemon type effectiveness is largely based on... Okay, whatever. It's repetitive. For what it's worth, Ash bumps into this Spearow, now a Fearow, again. See, we're like jumping all over the place in the original series. So later on in the original series, we run into the Spearow that's now a Fearow. And it talks about how Pidgeotto evolves. And you know how Ash rewards it? He says, stay here for a bit and make sure that Spearow are gone for good. I'll be back to get you before you know it. It's been 22 years and Ash hasn't so much as thought of going back. Pidgeot is still just perched there on a tree branch, perpetually whacking its brain over what it did wrong. Pidgeot, mate, you're a hero. Ash is a twat. Oh, okay. Okay, that is kind of funny there, because, I mean... Yeah, that's kind of a drop plot, and I wish that Ash would actually go back and get Pidgeot, but... Yeah, I kind of doubt that's going to happen at this point. Anyways, Pidgeot isn't the only one, though. Ash is notorious for just ditching his Pokemon whenever it suits him. Okay, so this guy just says that Ash ditches Pokemon. According to an article we published a few years ago, these are all... Oh, why are you referring to an article a few years ago? Why don't you look at what's going on currently? Because this is a few years ago. Let me actually see how old this article is. I know I'm jumping around. The 15 most evil things... Oh my gosh. Yeah, this website is basically Screen Rant, but just calling themselves a gamer. The 15 most evil things Ash Ketchum has ever done. Oh my goodness. No, I can't. I've already read through 2 articles. I can't go any further. No, I can't. So, according to this article, these are all the Pokemon Ash has caught and eventually told to get lost, sending them to live forever with Professor Oak, who is constantly trying to cover for his carelessness. He puts Metapod first. And I don't recall Ash catching another Metapod. Someone correct me in the comment section down below, but I think he only caught Caterpie, which evolved in Metapod and Butterfree. And so he says here that Metapod and Butterfree are on the list of Pokemon that he basically sent to live with Professor Oak, which is incorrect. Same with Pidgeot. This is very confusing. He didn't tell Lapras to get lost, by the way. Lapras is on here. Did he really tell Squirtle to get lost? I mean, I guess you could argue. It says Charmander here. It doesn't even call it Charizard, which it should. I don't know why he listed as a Charmander. I mean, Ash did kind of tell Charizard to go and get training, but, whatever. Primate, he didn't ditch. He didn't ditch Primate. Okay, why is Raticate here? He only had Raticate for a little bit. Apom, he traded to Dawn. He didn't tell it to get lost. Okay, King Muck. Yeah, and because they published this a few years ago, if you look through this list, which I will have here as we go through it, but yeah, because they did this a few years ago, they didn't even bother to list the Kalos Pokemon that Ash left at Oak's lab here, so it just stops at Gen 5. Also, and another thing too is he doesn't even try to list like what the current Pokemon that Ash either has at Oak's lab right now, or the Pokemon that Ash has, parted ways with. He just lumps them all into one category, forgets the Gen 6 Pokemon that are over at Oak's lab, doesn't, count Greninja here, doesn't count the Alola Pokemon, he just focuses on these ones. So that's kind of lazy, bud. That's 69 Pokemon, and there's been 3 years of the anime since. Obviously, you can't knock about Galar with 80 Pokemon on you. And we've all combined some of our favorites to Bill's PC on occasion. But at least takes them back out. Ash hasn't visited his old mates once. What are you talking about? He says right here, he says that he did research on Bulbapedia. But he says right here, Ash hasn't visited his old mates once. I mean, he did kind of go back in Sun and Moon. Granted, we didn't see a whole lot of his older Pokemon that he has at Oak's lab. Granted. But no. He's gone back there a couple times. So you're just blatantly wrong here. For all they know, he never will. And let's be real, he probably never will, but I mean, he's gone back to Palatown. He's probably visited them off screen. I know we don't like that, but I'm pretty sure Ash has visited his Pokemon off screen at some point. Just saying. Moving on, it says here that some of these Pokemon have had it worse than others. Butterfree, the final form of Caterpie mentioned above, who Ash made battle in a fight it had no chance of winning, was traded for Eradicate as nonchalantly as handing over money for a beer. Okay, yeah, sure. Ash eventually asked for Butterfree back, but that's gotta hurt your confidence. How so? Eventually Butterfree decided Ash wasn't worth the hassle and fell in love with a wild pink Butterfree and probably spent every day since feeling immensely grateful. So, yeah, according to this guy, Ash is just such a terrible trainer that Butterfree is just like, yeah, I'm happy that I'm ditching you, Ash. You made me fight against Pidgeotto, and I got just destroyed. Thanks a lot, buddy. You also traded me, so screw you, Ash. You're a terrible trainer, so I'm just gonna go out and hang out with this pink Butterfree. I mean, it's totally not like Butterfree was crying when it left, and that Ash was actually crying when Butterfree left. I mean, it is probably one of the most emotional episodes in the entire anime, and one of the most memorable ones too, but yeah, Ash doesn't care about his Pokemon, and Butterfree hates Ash. And thank goodness we're almost done with this article. So, here we go. Moving on. To go through that list in chronological order, Ash ditches Primeape, because he totally did that. Ash just totally said, you know what, Primeape, you suck. I've had you for only a couple episodes. Get out of my team. Yeah, go. Yeah, he totally didn't, give it to that one dude to do some training. Yeah, that's totally not what Ash did. I mean, it is kind of a little annoying that we never got to see Primeape again, and it was kind of in Ash's team for a very brief amount of time, but yeah, Ash totally ditched Primeape. He trades Raticate back, which I don't know why you're bringing that up, because Raticate is completely irrelevant. He ignores Krabby until he needs it to evolve, which, yeah, that's totally what Ash did. I mean, I could go on about how that whole part in the Indigo League with Krabby basically sweeping that one guy's team is one of the most ridiculous things in the anime. But yeah, that's a video for another day. So anyways, moving on from that terrible take. He continuously acts rude towards Muck. How so? Please give me some evidence towards this, please. Who always hugs him, always tries to give him a big slimy hugs. So again, I would like to see some sources and some backup to this claim, because I don't recall Ash ever acting rude towards Muck. Sure, Muck was a bit stinky, and Ash even remarked that about the Pokeball after he caught Muck, but yeah, I need some evidence. He tells Bayleaf to piss off for being affectionate. Again, please tell me when this happened, because I would like to know. It's been a long time since I watched Johto, so please give me some sources here to back up your claim, because I don't believe it at the moment. He is genuinely scabby to all of them. Of the 30 Tauros he owns, he ignores 29. Okay, again, give me some, give me proof that he does this. And Sun and Moon, yeah, he was like, hey, it's my Pokemon, and all the Tauros got super excited when they saw Ash and they ran him over and shot him in the air, but yeah. Ash totally ignores his Tauros. I'm not even thinking about how sad they are for not being chosen. Imagine how mean they are to the one Tauros who actually got a bit of attention 22 years ago. Honestly, Ash, even the ones you're nice to end up getting hurt. Okay, that... What even was that point? Okay, you're just, actually making, stuff up in your head at this point, bud. Alright, let's see what else we got here. So it says here, it's frankly absurd how mean Ash is. To harken back to our early example, where Pikachu gets hurt and Misty comes to the rescue, as soon as Pikachu starts to feel better, Ash pits him up against Onix. Again, we're jumping between multiple episodes. I know Pikachu goes to the Pokemon Center in episode 2 and heals up, and I believe it's episode 5 when Ash faces up against Brock. It's been a little bit while since I've watched the original series, but I believe it's episode 5. So, yeah, as soon as Pikachu feels better, Ash is like, hey Pikachu, go up against that Onix. I'm pretty sure you're going to defeat it. Again, Ash was an idiot back then, and he was a very noob trainer that definitely didn't know his type advantages. He definitely didn't pay attention to that stuff. And he's obviously changed since then, so again, we're using the original series to say that Ash is an awful trainer. So, nice job, bud. A tiny electric mouse against a gigantic rock snake, who happens to be A, immune to Pikachu's attacks, and B, completely super effective against it. I mean, yes, good points. Ash was an idiot back then, but again, we're calling Ash the real villain of Pokemon, and we're talking about what he did in the original series instead of talking about what he's capable of now. So, yeah, okay. I'm not even going to get started on Ash's Charizard. Charizard knows that Ash is an idiot and ignores him for ages. But the second he finally fights for him, Ash is like, we're in the money now. He uses him to stomp rookie trainers and youngsters, and even has him burn Itoros to a crisp. The two of them together are a genuinely nightmarish duo. You should say a nightmarish duo, but whatever. Okay, so is this why Ash is the villain of Pokemon? Because him and Charizard are scary together? That's what this guy is. I don't know. Moving on to the last paragraph. I still love Pokemon and I'll always be fond of Ash Ketchum because nostalgia speaks louder than lying to Pidgeot. Okay, apparently talking all that trash about Ash, he still likes Ash. But seriously, this guy is a literal worse. Ash Ketchum is a total wanker, and we all just let him away with it. Did you mean get away with it? You gotta work on your grammar, bud. So that was a bit of a doozy of an article. I'll give it to this guy. I mean, there were some kind of ridiculous statements in this article that made me laugh. I'll give this guy that. I mean, I got a good laugh about some of this stuff in this one. So, I guess thumbs up there. But the guy, I mean, besides that, he talks about how he looked up a few episodes of the original anime and looked up some stuff on Bulbapedia, and yet he's spreading misinformation and not getting his facts right. So, it's like, did you actually do the research, or did you not even try? Because there's a few parts in this article where it's pretty clear that he didn't do quite enough research to back up his points. But yeah, you know, what do you expect from these type of articles? This is basically what I was expecting. I will say, though, it is pretty funny. I'll give this guy that. I got a good laugh out of this one. So guys up there, what'd you think of this article? Think it was funny? Think it was ridiculous? Do you actually think that Ash Ketchum is the true villain of Pokemon? Post your thoughts in the comment section down below. Be sure to like and subscribe. And I'll talk to you all later. You all stay safe out there and have a great day or night wherever you're at. Peace.